Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to make this one in English as well. I always make one in English, one in Spanish. Uh, it's just more fun for me that way. Don't forget to press the like, follow, subscribe, and whatever else you find. As many buttons you find, just push them. And let's see what happens. Anyways, I I wanted to talk about today is this new habit that people have acquired, and I was saying sadly this happens mostly amongst Hispanics. It also happens with Americans, but not so. I haven't found it so much. Maybe because I don't have that much interaction with white people as I do with Hispanics. Um, I don't know, but I have found this, which I'm going to talk about. The bad habit of asking somebody as an introduction, "Hi, where are you from?" Oh my God, that is so hateful. It is so. Uh, it is such a big lack of respect. Uh, when I was growing up, I was taught both in Mexico and in Texas that the way that you present yourself to a stranger, you say, "Hi, my name is Luis Villalba. May I have your name, please? Or I would like to have a conversation with you. May I have your name?" You see, that presents two facts. I want to know your name is I want to know you. You are an important person. Your name is important. Your last name, yes, that would be fine. Maybe it's possible for me to know the family you belong to, because it used to be that, like, oh, the Mendozas, yes, it's a big family, or this, but the important thing is I want to know your name. Are you Louis? Are you John? Are you Stephanie? Are you Charlotte? Because I want to get to know you. The introduction of, "Hey, where are you from?" indicates that my person is not important to you. You just want to know if you think I'm a part of the group that belongs here or the group that belongs there, which means you are already putting me in a group. And that is pretty offensive. I have found it pretty freaking offensive. People say, well, you're a Peruvian, you must like Coke. Or you're a Mexican, you must like tequila. And there is nothing further from the truth. You know, People are people, and there are Mexican people that don't drink. There's Mexican people that like whiskey, tequila. Well, tequila you already know. Rum, not ron. Well, there's some Mexican girls that like ron, but I don't know. They don't know where ron is. But anyways, there are some Mexicans that like rum, just like there are, Americans that like tacos, or burritos, and so in this day and age, it is very hurtful. Because see, I'm gonna say why I'm focusing on this, and it's kind of a two-part thing. The other part I'm gonna talk about later. The first part is people complain about this Generation X and how they have lost so many things. They don't go out, they don't do this, they don't do that, and they don't know how to do this. There's a lot of jokes about them. But the fact of the matter is this, as I have told many people of my young 64 years of age, whatever Generation X is, we kind of made them. And we kind of made them that way. Because we didn't realize, or many people didn't realize, that if you don't set the standards for your children. And I know many conservatives are going to go, yay! And yes, you are partially right. But it's not by saying, hey, Grandpa, why do I gotta do this? Because I say so. It doesn't work. We grew up in the 60s and 70s, and we were told, hey, only girls let their hair grow long. Well, guess what? It didn't work, did it? Because we understood that just commands by authority don't work. You have to have reason. You have to have a dialogue. You can't just tell your children, oh, well, you just gotta say, hey, what's your name? Because they're gonna say, why? And if you don't have an answer, they might say yes because they're afraid of you right then and there, or they have respect for you. But when they go out into the street, they're gonna pick up the first habit that their friends who have an emotional connection with them, and remember this, emotional. It's not about just giving them the rules. You see, the rules have been written since before the Bible. Now, how many people do not eat shrimp because it says so in the Bible? How many people? No, I can't raise my hand, but raise your hand. How many people don't eat shrimp? How many people don't eat ham? You see, rules can be made for a particular place and time, and they have to have a reason. Those rules were made back in the old days when there was no antibiotic. People didn't know about how to cure, how to cook this kind of food, and it generally made people sick. So the rule was made. Now, you try imposing that rule on anyone here, oh no, you can't eat shrimp. Well, a lot of economy is going to go down the drain. You tell people not to eat ham, the other half of the economy is going to go down the drain because it's not practical, because there's no reason for it. Now, if you explain to your children why it is important to have respect for the individual and not treat him as oh, well, he's from Peru, we should treat him like that. He's from Russia, we should treat him like that. You have to tell him, explain to him why respect for individual is important, because if you don't, then Generation X turns around and says, if respect for individual is not important, guess what, Mom, Dad? You're an individual, so I don't have to respect you either. You see, people have forgotten that there are extensions to everything that they say, and there are consequences to every rule that you make. And so it is important for this generation, the one coming up, to come up with this respect for the individual and teach it with emotion, with care, with nurturing, not from a position of authority, because we already know that the position of authority, yeah, they may do it in front of you, but as soon as they walk out the door, they're going to ask Johnny from the corner, and Tony the thug, what do I do? I say, or hey, just what do I do, man? It's going to be, they are going to control what your kids think. It's not the communists. It's not the schools. It is their friends. Even the teachers get surprised at the communication that these children have, but they have this communication because their emotional ties to you has been cut, because you did not make sure that there was an emotional nurturing communication to them. And now you want to make up for it by claiming that everybody's a communist, that the schools are grooming your children. No, you cut the communication with your kid. He looked for the first thug he could find on the street, and that's what he's bringing home. So anyways, we'll talk about other things later on, but communicate with your child from a reasonable and emotional point of view.